Hi everyone, I'm going to show you how to connect all your stereo components with no wires between them using your Wi-Fi network. I'll be using this little box that I'm going to show you how to build later in the video. It can transmit audio over Wi-Fi to connect your turntable, and it can also receive audio over Wi-Fi to connect your subwoofer. For the main speakers, I'll be using a pair of these Wi-Fi receiver boxes which have built-in amplifiers to work with any regular speaker. These easy to build homemade boxes will convert ordinary non-wireless components to Wi-Fi. So you get to choose the speakers, you get to choose the turntable, and you get to choose the subwoofer. This is everything you need. We're going to start with an Arylic Up2Stream Pro streamer board. We'll use some M3 nylon standoffs and screws and some simple hand tools. I'm going to leave links for where you can get all of this stuff. Okay, so now we open up the streamer board. We are not going to need any of these wires and cables, but I'll keep them for future projects. We take the board out of its anti-static bag. Hopefully my instructions are good enough that you won't need the instructions. Place the board in the box with the connectors towards the hinge of the box. Now if we push the board all the way to the side of the box with the hinge, it actually gets held at the right distance by these rounded corners. Now we just mark the positions of the 4 screws. Next we use a pin vise to make small starter holes. We'll be using one of the little drills that comes with the pin vise. If you don't have a pin vise, I'm going to leave a link to where you can get it. And we'll do this from the inside of the box because it will be more precise. Now we use the 1/8 drill bit in the pin vise and we make the holes their final size. And we can do this from the inside or the outside. Now we take 4 12mm long M3 nylon screws and we thread them through the holes that we've made. Then we thread some M3 nylon nuts onto the screws. And these are very close to the edge, so the nuts won't actually turn. So we have to turn the screws instead. It should look like this when we're done. And we just now can thread the board over the top of those screws and it should all just fit perfectly. There we go, right on there. Now for the 3 connectors, we've just marked their center position. And for this switch, we marked a U shape around it. We're going to cut a slot around that U. Now with the second largest of the drills that comes with the pin vise, we're going to make holes at the center positions of those connectors, and we're going to make perforations around the lines defining that U. Before making the holes, we need to remove all the screws and nuts. Okay. With the screws removed, we can make the holes safely. And it should look like this, with a U-shaped perforation and 3 holes. Now we cut out the U using a utility knife, and make sure you get a new blade before you do this. So after trimming, it should look something like this. Now we use the step drill attached to this screwdriver to make the connect holes big enough to put the cables in. If you have an electric screwdriver, that works really well, but I'm just using a manual one. And then you can just cut between these holes with the knife. And after trimming, it looks like this. Now we can replace the 4 screws and nuts for the board. So we can place the board on top of the screws and check that everything is lined up perfectly. You get a nice click with the switch and we can put our connectors in just fine. If that all fits, then we can screw the board down. To screw the board down, we'll use these 20mm hexagonal pillars, which are long enough so that our fingers have an easier time of it. Now, one of these is very tricky. This one, next to this infrared sensor, is too close to it. We're just going to have to trim off the corners of this one pillar. After trimming, this corner screws in easily, and the others screw in without any trimming at all. The final step is to peel off the backing for the Wi-Fi antenna, stick it down to the housing. It needs to be flat, but otherwise the placement isn't critical. Now we can just close the lid. We have an opening here for all of the connectors, and we have a nice click when we push this corner of the case for the on-off switch. I made the boxes for the main speakers in this video that I'll link to in the description and the end screen. They'll work with any normal passive speaker like these. The connection to the subwoofer is very simple. Just attach the RCA end of an RCA to 3.5mm cable to the subwoofer RCA inputs. Plug the 3.5mm plug into the line out of our Wi-Fi box. That's this one. Then we just connect our USB power and we're ready to start connecting the turntable. Modern turntables have a phono preamp built in. If that's the case with yours, it'll have a switch on the back or the bottom, which is usually labeled with the words phono and line. Make sure that switch is in the line position. If your turntable doesn't have the switch, it doesn't have a preamp, and you'll need to add one like this one. Phono cartridges vary a lot in their output level, so I recommend using a level control like this one. If you hear a crackling sound during loud parts of the music, you can dial down the level a bit. Connect the level control output to the input side of the receiver box, which is this connector, and the turntable is now connected to the input of the level control. The power can now be connected to the Wi-Fi box. I won't repeat the attaching of the Wi-Fi boxes to the main speakers that I covered in this video. I'll go straight to setting our complete wireless system up on Wi-Fi. To set up this speaker, we need to download and open the free Arylic 4Stream app that we can find on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. The 4Stream app won't find your device on Wi-Fi at first because it still needs setting up. So when the Add New Devices button appears, select it. You'll get this screen which asks you to check for a flashing light. It's normal for the light on the speaker to be flashing really fast when it's first turned on, but once it's flashing steadily, about once a second,
entering setup mode. Follow the instructions in the app to finish the setup.
Click on the Indicator is Blinking button. On the next screen, select While using the app, and then Allow. Here you see it's found our Wi-Fi speaker, so press the Set up this device button. On the next screen, enter your Wi-Fi password, click Next. Once your speaker is connected to your Wi-Fi network, you'll see this screen.
Connected to your Wi-Fi network.
Click OK. Next, the app asks you if you want to give this device a more friendly name. You can type in anything that's easy for you to remember, or select one of the presets. I'll just call it right speaker, and I'll call the next one I set up left speaker. You can come back to this screen later if you'd like to change the name. The Wi-Fi speaker is now set up on your Wi-Fi network. Now I'll show you how to set up two speakers as a stereo pair. I named this one right speaker in the app and the second one left speaker. To separate the two channels, go to the information box for each speaker. At the bottom right, there's a little gear wheel, and to the left of that, there's a small circle. Inside that circle, you'll see the letters L and R, which means that both the left and right channels will play on that speaker. If you touch the circle once, it will only display the letter L, which means the speaker will only play the left channel. If you touch the circle again, it will only play the right channel. Make sure that the R is in the little circle for the speaker on the right side and L is there for the speaker on the left. Now we can play in stereo with no wires between the speakers. Now we can set up the subwoofer. To do that, we go back to the 4Stream app. The devices screen will show the speakers that we've already set up. To add something else, click on the plus sign at the top right corner. The next steps are exactly the same as for the main speakers until we get to the device name, and I'm going to call this one Subwoofer. The Wi-Fi setup for the turntable is the same as for the subwoofer until we get to the naming screen. I called this one Music Player. We're using a turntable, but it could just as easily be a CD player or even a cassette deck. To link all these things together over Wi-Fi, we go back to the Devices tab on the 4Stream app. It's important to start the linking with the device that will transmit music to the others. In this case, that's the one I called Music Player. In the top right corner of the box for that device, there's a little symbol that looks like a link in a chain. Click on it and you'll see all our other devices listed underneath. Select right speaker, left speaker and subwoofer and then click Done. You can see now that all the components are linked together in one box. The top slider controls the volume for all the components, but you can adjust them individually if you want to. If we want to play music from our phone, we select it from the Browse tab. There we'll see the popular music apps listed, or we can play music from a computer or server on our home network. If we want to play an LP record, scroll down to the bottom in the Browse tab and select Line In. All the music that I have on LP is copyrighted, so I'll play some spoken word from a test record.
The following signal is recorded on the left-hand channel only.
Now you know how to create a fully wireless stereo using speakers and a turntable that you get to choose. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. If you buy anything from the product links in the description, it doesn't cost you any more, but it does help to support the channel and is very much appreciated. Thanks for watching, everyone.